Hello, welcome to Marchintosh on my channel. I just wanted to record a quick video. This is going to be a very different year for me because pretty much all of my vintage Mac stuff is boxed up in a storage unit at the moment. So I don't really have any hardware I can mess around with or any physical things to show you. So I thought I would take a look at an old issue of Macworld and just kind of walk through it together and see what we find. I just picked a random March issue. Ended up picking 1998 just because I thought it'd be an interesting year. So anyway, with that being said, welcome to Macworld. It was a really good magazine. I'm really sad that it doesn't exist in print anymore. It does still exist digitally. But anyway, so context for 1998, I was not a Mac user yet. I was still in high school. Let's see, March 1998. I would have just turned old enough to drive, actually. So, yeah, here we go. Before we begin, let's take a look at this cover. So, the year's best Mac products. Microsoft repents. That's a little ominous, I guess. Apparently, Office 98 is going to make up for the past sins. And here's a crazy graphic of a devil putting on an angel costume, I guess. I don't know. The graphics in this thing a little weird. Anyway, here we go. Yeah, that is literally the first thing you see when you turn the page. A guy wearing a blue wrestling mask, and it apparently is an ad for a lacy 21-inch monitor with the blue hood. I have no idea what the blue hood is. I guess it has something to do with color. I didn't even know that Lacy made monitors, so that's a new one for me. Alright, table of contents here. So there's some very familiar names. If you look down here, you know, David Pogue, Christopher Breen, all these people are still very active in the Macintosh community. But like, take a look at all these graphics. Like, if you asked me randomly what year this was made, I probably would have said like 1992. And no, it's from 1998, and I think it's easy to forget what things looked like back then. I think when you think back on computers from that era, you think of, like, you know, iMacs and stuff like that. But this is before that. This is before the iMac. This is right after Steve Jobs came back, but before the iMac here. So yeah, there's some really weird graphics in the table of contents. So here's another ad for newer technology, which made upgrade stuff for the Macintosh. So apparently, if you do an upgrade, you can change your Mac from one breed of dog to a different breed of dog. So I guess that's the thing. Or maybe they're the same breed. I don't know. I don't know dogs. I'm more of a cat person now. Used to be a dog person, but more of a cat person now. But anyway, alright, more dogs in ads. There were a lot of ads for monitors. I don't think okay, granted, I haven't looked at a print computer publication in quite a while. But I don't think people really advertise monitors as a thing anymore. You just kind of go out and buy whatever looks, you know, pretty good on Amazon. I mean, I'm sure there are people that, you know, care a lot more, but generally they're all pretty decent, you know. So here's an ad for did you get your zip built in? Now available VST Zip 100 drive for your G3 3400, 1400, and 190/5300 series PowerBook. So I have a PowerBook 1400, and it does have removable, swappable drives, which is really cool because you can swap out between a CD-ROM and a zip drive and a floppy drive, and I think you can hot swap it. I don't know. I've never actually hot swapped it because it's an old computer and I don't want to mess with it. But anyway, yeah, zip was a big thing in the 90s, and I had a whole, you know, I was still on a PC at the time, But I had a whole zip disk that was like, this is my backup, and it had everything on it, you know, that was mine. I had like 2 disks of like 200 megabytes worth of stuff, which is like nothing now. I have documents that are 200 megabytes now. But anyway, yeah, the big deal for that internal zip. I do miss the hot swappable drives. I mean, I got, you know, there's not much of a need for it anymore, but I think that was a really unique idea. More ads. Look at these carts. Like, what is going on with? Okay, over here, there's a woman sitting down, and she has. It looks like at least 2 different PCs and a TV, and maybe she's in some kind of video production or something. Because if you look back here in the back, it's got. I guess that's a cardboard cutout or something like that. I'm not quite sure what this is. It looks very weird. But yeah, here's a very. I mean, look how busy everything is. Everything was so big back then. And why does this guy need 6 PC towers at the bottom there? Like, I have no idea. Um, let's see here. Yeah, let's keep going. Are these clones? I think these are clones over here on the right. Yeah, so Mac clones were actually a thing for a while. And you could buy a computer that was not made by Apple and run Mac OS on it. And Steve Jobs came back and he was like, no, we're not going to do that. So this would have been the very last of these things. So here's another ad for, what is this, a printer? Epson 1440 DPI color printer. I remember seeing these ads. Like, I was still a PC guy at the time, and I remember looking at PC magazines and seeing these ads where, you know, oh my gosh, at 360 DPI, you see a lady in her bathing suit, and then as the resolution gets better, you see the bathing suit's painted on. I'm like, you know, I think you could probably see that pretty well before the resolution, but you know, maybe that's just me. Yeah. Alright, letters. I'm not gonna pay a whole lot of attention to reading these things, but this guy claims that there's no keystroke command for save as, which it's been a while since, and this is in Mac OS 8. And it's been a while since I've used Mac OS 8, but I guess today that would be Command Shift S. So maybe that wasn't there at the time. That does seem like a rather big omission there. I don't know. I was wondering, you know, okay, I sent in some letters to Nintendo Power when I was a kid, and I was absolutely thrilled when they printed my letters, you know. But I was wondering about the people that, I mean, in 1997, you know, there would have been electronic stuff, you know, and you know, I always wondered about the people that mailed in a letter to a magazine asking a question and then waited like 3 months for them maybe to print it and then answering the question. And I'm like, did you really sit on this question for 3 months? I mean, sometimes I have to wonder, you know, are these letters even real? I bet most of them are. It just seems like a very inefficient way of troubleshooting, I guess. Yeah, here's more stuff with color monitors, just all kinds of stuff. So yeah, we're talking about this article is talking about Microsoft. It's talking about Office 98, which was a big release for the Mac. And talking about how, you know, oh, the Mac is superior because of Office 98. And I don't even think at the time people would have argued that Office 98 for the Mac was better than Office on the PC. So I don't know where that's going on. Here's another monitor. ViewSonics. These were everywhere. I think we had a ViewSonic when I was growing up. I do like the little birds. Let's see. For people with 19-inch eyeballs and a 17-inch workspace. So this would have been A 19-inch CRT. That is pretty big. That is a pretty dang big CRT. It must have weighed a ton. Yeah. There's another. This is an ad from iOmega with Zip, and so here's a guy. He's holding 70 floppies in his left hand. He's got one disc in his right hand, and he's standing in front of a cargo plane because I guess it has more room now because you have things. I don't know. I still have a zip drive tucked away somewhere. I was actually very lucky. I had a regular USB zip drive, and then I randomly found at the office one day somebody had gotten rid of a SCSI drive, that you can connect to like a vintage Mac and stuff. And so I nabbed that super quick. When they work, they're nice and they're a good backup. But the click of death thing that so many of those were prone to, were absolutely prone to failure. And yeah, you would lose your stuff. And I think that might have had something to do with why people got away from zip. I mean, not to mention the rise of USB flash drives. But anyway. All right, let's see. News. Oh, okay. All right. So I was flipping through this earlier. Excuse me. I was flipping through this magazine earlier, and so this is Steve Jobs back at Apple. They're still calling him interim CEO. So this would have been really quick after he came back to Apple before he dropped the interim. Okay. And so here they are saying fiscal 98. First quarter, they turned a profit, and everybody was saying that they would take a loss. So just early little rumblings of Apple's turning itself around. Remember, this is before the iPod. This is before the iMac. I believe they're talking about G3 systems, but they're not the G3 systems you're thinking of. They're not the blue and white G3s. They're the beige G3s. And so this is before the really big splash. But it's nice to see that they are turning things around at that time. The other article on this page talking about the update to 8.1, macOS 8.1, which introduced HFS Plus, which was the file system that they moved on to after hierarchical file system, which was the file system that Macs used for a long time. HFS Plus lasted quite a while. I think it really didn't even go away. I mean, you can still format a disk in HFS Plus today, but I don't think it really went away in Macs until about maybe 5 or 6 years ago. I can't remember exactly. And now they have Apple File System APFS. Yeah, so that was when that debuted in 1998 with macOS 8.1. So, let's see here. Here's a little, so this is talking about the Wall Street PowerBook that are coming soon and stuff like that. So, it's in that era. And, let's see. Okay, what the heck is this? Insists on Dante products for genuine Adobe PostScript 3. So another printer ad. Like I can't remember the last time I saw an ad in print or elsewhere for a printer. I think quite frankly, we didn't even use printers. I didn't have one the last couple of years until we got into homeschooling, and then I got a printer again. But there wasn't really any need for one at home anymore. So I have no idea what the printer sales are. So let's keep going. Let's see. Yeah, so here's another little example of how moving to HFS Plus gives you more usable disk space and technical explanation of it and everything. So that's one reason they moved to that file system. So some app for some CAD software with some very, very basic looking 3D stuff. I bet a lot of this software is still pretty usable for basic stuff today. Look at these prices. So MiniCAD 7, they're talking about how they're cheap. Like, they're the cheap one, and they're at $795. Like, $795. And I get that pricing is different now, what with, subscription models and everything, but that's a heck of a lot of money for some software, especially back in 1998. Alright, reviewing Quark Express 4. I'm not going to spend too long on the articles. I'm mainly interested in ads and, that kind of thing. But, because they're just reviewing stuff. So, so now they're talking about G3s over here on the right. And they're talking about the Power Mac G3 tower. So remember, this is the beige Power Mac. It's huge. It's absolutely huge. So this isn't the blue and white G3 that everybody thinks of. And they're actually talking, let's see here. Here's a clone. Super Mac S900 base Max Power Pro Plus 250. That's a name. It gets the highest rating. Supposedly it's a bit pricey at $4,000, and yeah, that is a bit pricey. So I have no idea how anybody afforded any of this stuff back in the day. So HP Scanjet over here. That's another thing I can't think of the last time I saw an ad for. There's so much stuff in computers that has just become like, I guess, just normal, and you don't think about it, and it's just there. And what scanner do you use? Oh, the one that they have on the sale at the office store or whatever. And they're all good. They're all decent. Yeah, I don't know. All right, more printers over here on the left. Laser printers, cheaper than Apple's laser printers, I guess. Okay. This is putting the LaserWriter 8500 up against the LaserJet, the HP LaserJet, and Apple made printers. At least I'm not sure how many they actually made themselves. I know several of them were actually just Canon printers that were rebranded under the Apple name. But I think everybody's pretty much forgotten the fact that Apple made printer. Can you imagine how wild it would be if they announced a new printer today? Here's the iPrint or whatever. They wouldn't probably call it i anymore. But here's the new Apple printer. Print all your stuff. So you have a hard copy when democracy collapses. So yeah. Here's another surreal ad. I feel like there was a lot more surrealism in ads. And this is a bunch of executives with sharks on their head. I guess it's for an LCD projector, because things are supposed to be easier if you have this projector. I would be a little more concerned about why your executives are sharks, but yeah. So anyway, I wonder if those suits have slits in the back for their. No. Anyway. So let's see here. Don't really care about this review. But alright, here's a Top Gun game. I didn't even know there was a Top Gun game from this era. It's called Top Gun Fire at Will. You are Maverick. I can't even tell. This looks like a word cloud, but it's not. Like, you're supposed to read it left to right. You are Maverick, and you've got your orders on your mind. Commander Hondo on your back, and Miggs on your tail. So fuel up, strap yourself in, and let them know your bark is nothing next to your bite. Oh, okay. I'm assuming this was a PC game that was ported to the Mac by Microsoft. I don't really know anything about this game, so I'll have to look it up. I have to look it up later. Here's QuickTime VR. Okay, this was a thing. So, you used to be able to download stuff in QuickTime. In fact, it was one of the reasons I even used QuickTime on the PC. Was you downloaded the QuickTime, and then you could look around in quote VR. You can't see me doing the air quotes, but I'm doing that now. you could look around in VR, and with a little pointer and just kind of drag it around, and it was actually really cool. And that stuff seems to have gone away completely. I mean, they have stuff that works with the Apple Vision Pro, but up until when the iPhone came around, sorry, you started seeing more of this kind of augmented reality stuff, and more of these environments where you could just look around somewhere. This time, not by clicking and dragging, but by moving your physical phone. And so this is like I guess kind of the groundwork for this stuff. So they've been doing it a long time. On the right, we have an ad for another game by Macworld, Play to Win Casino. It looks a lot like a game I used to play on the Game Boy. It was called Caesar's Palace. It looks like your basic, casino gambling game. I used to like, why would anybody want, a video game of this stuff? But I did get stuck into Caesar's Palace, playing blackjack for a long, long time. So I can understand it. I can understand it. Let's talk about a firewall. Here's an ad for Adobe Illustrator, and of course we've got to have some kind of whacked out 90s surrealist illustration. It looks like, is this a factory? It looks like it might be a factory with legs. I'm not exactly sure. That is weird. It seriously looks like something that was drawn in 1992. I don't know. Maybe my memory is just bad about what things look like in '98, but that sure does look odd to me. Alright, let's see here. APS backup. Yeah, they still make that stuff. So, video effects software and OmniPage. Is that related to the Omni Group software stuff? I don't know. I don't know anything about that. So, we're still talking about Java. Alright, here we go. Run Windows on your Macintosh for a PCI-based Macintosh. I think this is basically a card that you would put in your Mac that is essentially a little PC that you put in your Mac and run it off a card. I'm not exactly sure. None of that ever really worked well enough, really. I never understood why you would do that versus just buying a PC if you have to have one, But let's see, Mac Administrator. Never heard of that. It's literally an ad for labels. Are you signing the mislabeled, misplaced, misunderstood diskette blues again? Oh, singing, sorry. Like, brothers and sisters, we hear you. Like, this. Let's see. When your disks aren't organized, the world can be a very cold place. But all this torment can be avoided. There are preset layouts for every diskette labels in Microsoft Word, WordPerfect, and Label Pro. So it's easy to print out labels from your laser or inkjet printer. So do people do this? Because when I was a kid, my floppy disk labels were usually stuff like, literally stuff. Or, I might get a little more creative and be like Cameron stuff. But most of my floppy disk labels were not all that accurate, and I can't remember seeing other people in school doing that. I don't know. Like I said, at the time, floppy disk was, kind of on the way out anyway. So, yeah. Let's see here. Oh, okay. So over here on the right, we've got Movie Mogul. My daughter's into movies, not watching them, making them. She's amazing. She takes the video she's shot and turns it into QuickTime movies. It's great, but sure does ease up my hard drive space. So I bought a SideJet drive from SideQuest. It uses 1.5 gigabyte cartridges, and right now you can get 3 gigs of removable hard disk space for only $299. That's $299, including hardware. Additional cartridges of 1.5 gigs are $79 each. Just for reference, I just uploaded a video to one of my other YouTube channels that is It's about 3 minutes long, and it is 2.5 gigabytes. So, yeah, we've come a long way. We've come a long way with stuff like this. Yeah. Oh, okay. On the right here, I saw this ad earlier when I was looking through this. The difference always raises a lot of eyebrows. If you've been using your inkjet to print EPS clip art and graphics, you probably see the jaggies. StyleScript is an easy-to-use solution that eliminates jaggies by turning your printer into a genuine Adobe PostScript printer. I have no idea what they're talking about. I guess I didn't print that much. But apparently it's supposed to be eyebrow raising. I don't see there's nothing really eyebrow raising. I mean, now if you look at the dress on the left, I mean, nowadays, like, that's probably the graphic that they would use, because it would be like, oh hey, it's pixelated, so it's you know, it's retro and everything. So it's kind of weird how things change around like that. So let's see some game things over here. Here's another monitor ad with another hood. Like, I don't remember people using these hoods that often. So I guess it was important in production. I obviously wasn't in, a production house at that time, so I don't know. But you don't see a lot of them in retro computing stuff, so I don't know. I guess people just threw the hoods away or whatever. But let's see, another monitor. Monitors were big business, apparently. Alright, here we go. Office 98. Microsoft repents and makes up for past sins. Okay. Just a little context. So, Excel and Word were Mac programs. Like, they were Mac programs first, before they were on anything else. They were developed for the original Macintosh. And so I find it odd that, Office for Mac is never as good as, Office for Windows. Well, I mean, it started on the Mac first, so... but anyway, apparently, Office was really, really bad at the time for Microsoft. So this was Office 98. I remember using Office 98. You're not in Word 6 anymore. My God, look how busy this looks. Has all kinds of changes and one-click to stars. That was a big deal. Smart scrolling. It tells you what page and heading you'll be at. Wow, that's big. But the thing I like most about this is, Office for Mac had its own little version of Clippy. If you look over here, it's an original compact Mac with some feet, and it's your little office assistant there, and it just lives there just like Clippy, and it's the same thing, and it's probably just as annoying, but it's a little cute Mac instead of a paperclip, and so that was nice. And I think this actually lasted quite a long time. I think you could bring it up in the OS 10 era. But anyway, yeah. So they're just talking about the upgrade here, and it's this article is really weird because it's very religion oriented, joining the congregation and reborn for the web. Like, it's, I don't know, really, really weird. I think this was written by David Pogue, so no wonder it's kind of jokey, because he's known for that kind of stuff. But has a list of sin and redemption. So Office 4.2 is ugly. It looks like Windows, and is it redeemed? Yeah, it uses Platinum Standard Mac OS 8. But then this is the one I thought was funny. Okay, Office 4.2 said guzzles RAM. Office 98, redeemed or still guilty, guzzles more RAM than ever. So, well, what's the point of that? Yeah. And, look at this over here. Look how busy it looks. How did we work in this? How did we do this? I'm glad that design has come a long way since then. Yeah, in Windows too, not just the Mac. But we got another printer ad. Editor's Choice Awards for 1998. So So yeah, they're talking about everything that happened. Galileo stepped down, Steve Jobs stepped in, and clones were shown the door. And Macworld and Mac User magazines merged into one magazine. So big deal, in the publishing world at least. So I'm not gonna go over all this too much, but again, look at these graphics. They're just, I mean, they're wonderful. They're like paintings. I guess maybe they were paintings. I'm not. Maybe they were. I guess you could have done it visually, but I'm not sure. The let's see, technology of the year is the G3. So all right, we got that, and it's basically just different hardware and stuff. So, but yeah. So over here on the right is an ad for a Mavica. I think this might be the very first Mavica, the FD7, FT5, and FT7. The ads are always funny because that's not how you put the disc in the camera. You put the disc in the other way, and so you do that, you're gonna break your camera. I had a Mavica. It was the first camera that I had, a digital camera that I had on my own. It was a Mavica FT71, and I love that thing. I absolutely loved it. I brought it up to school. I shot hundreds of pictures on floppy disk, and it was amazing. It really opened me up into the world of photography. After that, I got another Mavica, the CD1000, that recorded on the CDs, and shot thousands of photos on that. And I moved on to a DSLR, and at this point, I'm pretty much just using my iPhone because it does pretty much everything I want it to do. But the Mavica is really where it started for me, as far as a creative outlet like that. And I really love mine. And so it's really nice to see an ad. So it was a big deal because you could just take this disc, and it'll put 40 pictures on the disc, and you just pop the disc in the computer. And I know a lot of people like insurance people use these because they were so easy. You didn't have to worry about a cable. You didn't have to worry about any of that stuff. You just pop the disc out and put it in the computer. And there was a whole group of diehards that use these cameras, and I really miss it. I miss the Mavicas. Wish I would get one of those again sometime. Here's another clone ad. I mean, at this point, the clones have been killed, so I guess why would you buy one at this point, knowing that it's not going to be supported? I don't know. Same reason why people still buy Intel Macs again, I guess. I don't know. Let's keep going here. Talking about hard drives. And no, this is a scanner. Okay. It's a scanner that it's a large format scanner. It does 12 by 17. That's pretty cool. For under $3,000. Dang, man. Lightweight multimedia projectors. So projectors are really cheap now, but at the time they were not. They're talking about prices under $10,000 here. Wow, that's insane. That's absolutely insane. But anyway, yeah. So we're talking about let's see. Once you outgrow zip, avoid the rip. So let's see. Is this for? What is this for? Fujitsu. The Dymo 640 with a 640 megabyte cartridge. That's just $20. So actually, that's not bad because 640 megabytes. So a couple pages back, there was that ad for the SideQuest drive, which was like 1.5 gigs, right? And that was $80 for a cartridge, and this is $20 for 640 megabytes. So you could get two of those, and it wouldn't be quite 1.5 gigs, but it'd still be, a lot cheaper than the SideQuest drive. So I guess it's just another removable drive. So iMac had another drive called the Jazz drive, which was a different technology, and it wasn't as prevalent as a zip because it was more expensive, but it did hold a lot more space. And so here's another format. I've never seen anyone talk about this, so I don't know how many of these they sold. But here's more crazy graphics. I love this style. You don't see this weird surrealist geometric style. You don't see that much anymore. Let's see. Will this printer change the way I work? Unfortunately, yes. Fortunately, better. Like, fortunately, that's some weird grammar there. So this is a large format HP Design Jet. I've seen one of these before. I guess you can see them a lot, you know, at like, you know, you go to like FedEx, Kinko's, or whatever it's called now. And they have these big, huge printers. And honestly, you know, for what you're getting, a 2-foot wide printer, $31.95, doesn't sound that bad. Considering some of the other prices we've seen in here. But yeah, you know, obviously I never had a printer that big myself. I did get a photo printer that could do up to, I believe, 11 by 17, I think. And it was a really good printer, but, you know, how many big photos am I going to print? You know, it was an inkjet, so it wasn't, you know, cost effective. So it was just a thing. It was a thing. Let's see. There's another. What is this for? A PCI card. A graphics card, I guess. Yeah, it's a graphics card. A little brand never heard of. Quick trips and quick tips, tricks, and shortcuts. There's another game. So there were a lot of game ads for this. I mean, people always knock the Mac for not having games, but you know, there were a lot of games. There was actually a book. There's a book that came out not too long ago about I think it's called The Secret History of Mac Gaming. I'll try to remember look it up and put it in the description. But it goes into the history of the games on Mac, and it's actually really, really fascinating. The Mac had its own little, you know, kind of gaming niche, and you know, I mean, I played a number of PC games and when I was growing up. But when I got the Mac, games weren't that big of a deal. Now I've actually started playing more games on my current Mac. You know, a lot of them using, you know, emulators and stuff. And I think the Mac has a lot of gaming potential that people just dismiss it. A lot of the same way that people used to dismiss Nintendo. Oh, Nintendo's like kiddie. You know, it's only for kids. Well, no, there's a lot of stuff out there. If you would just get over yourself and you know. Let's see. There's another game. Okay. So this is interesting. This is the Ravages of the Apocalypse is a Quake total conversion. So they've taken the Quake engine and they built an X-Men game onto it. I've never heard of this. I've heard lots of Doom variations, but I didn't know that was the thing that people did with Quake. I've never played Quake, so I'm not really familiar with it. But yeah, they grafted this entire X-Men game on the Quake, and you know, actually looking at screenshots, it doesn't look that bad. So I mean, heck, if you could play first-person Wolverine, that sounds really cool, actually. There's another ad. I can't even tell what it's for. Yeah, here we go. Drawing and page layout software. Okay, I guess that makes sense. Here it is. Here we are in the create print section, and bunch of stuff that's not really my bag. But here's another ad for pool. Photorealistic 3D in real time. Aren't most pool games in real time? I don't know. I'm not sure I know of any pool game. Can you imagine a billiards game where you make a play and then, you know, you have to like wait and not real time, I guess? Like, or that sounds weird. I don't know. That sounds weird. Anyway, yeah, the 3D games like this. This seems like the kind of thing available at retailers everywhere. It definitely would have been on a wall of, you know, similar little, you know, here's a CD-ROM that stores had at the time, because this is before Apple stores. before the Apple Store was a thing. So, you know, you weren't a Mac, you went to like Comp USA and or something like that. And man, I miss Comp USA. I mean, that's a whole other subject, but um, I really miss going into a store that was just about computers. You know, I guess we have Micro Center now, but that's not just computers anymore. It's a whole bunch of other stuff. But uh, anyway, yeah, there's more print stuff. Tons and tons of more print stuff. This is, um, let's see, is this an ad for? Okay, PageMaker, from paper to HTML to Acrobat PDF to CD. It runs across media like a puppy across a playground. Like, end result, you fetch more results. Contracts, profits. Everything was about contracts and profits back then. Alright, here we go. Suddenly, clown. Sorry. If I known, I would have put a clown warning in there. But, like, this is literally a little tutorial on how to make a distortion, weird, crazy, surrealistic image. What the heck? 1998, like, what the heck, man? I guess people were... The millennium was coming up, and things were crazy. Yeah, I don't know. So he's taking this clown that he scanned and has just distorted it, um, and made this horrendous looking. What is this? Is this a dog? Like, is this? Oh my God! It's weird. It's very, very weird. I'm sorry about the clowns. Let's see. Oh, here's a film scanner. We had a film scanner. We got a Nikon. I think it was Nikon. Yeah, and Dad scanned all his slides, and he was like, "I'm gonna scan it at the highest resolution possible." So now I've got hundreds of TIFF files that take up like 300 or 400 megabytes each, and I'm really grateful to have my dad's pictures, but I don't think I really need them in that high of a resolution. Let's see here. I want my MacLink Plus. So okay. So at the time, working with Windows files on a Mac was very different. You just couldn't do it. Nowadays, almost everything just works except like, you know, exe files or whatever. But, you know, at the time, you had to have the software MacLink Plus, and you had to convert stuff. And I actually hate this stuff because as you're working with retro things, you know, you pop in a disk and it's like, oh, you want to make this a, you know, I gotta read this Windows disk. Like, no. I don't want to read a Windows formatted disk. I want to read the Mac stuff that's on that disk, and it's a mess. So I avoid it like the plague when I'm doing stuff with real hardware. But it was a thing. It was a thing. Let's see. We're talking about making animated GIFs. It is GIF, not GIF. Don't at me on that. It's GIF. But I do find it wild that they're talking about making animated GIFs, and animated GIFs are still very, very much a thing today. So let's see. Let's make some mini stuff. Look at all the stuff you had to have for this. Nowadays, you can just go get something that, you know, connects via Bluetooth to your phone or something, and that's really awesome. And I'm really glad that people can make music a lot more easily. Let's see here. All right, here we go. Here we go. Advertising index. We're about to get to the ads in this thing, the real ads, the big huge ads. So here we go. All right, and it's loading. Here we go. The Mac Zone, your Macintosh catalog superstore. So here it is. Look at all this stuff. Look at the prices on this stuff, you know. Some things actually seem pretty cheap, you know. Okay, $14.99 for a Power Mac 7300. I mean, it's not the fastest, but that doesn't seem that expensive. Here's a crazy looking digital camera with a detachable 2.7 times zoom. I have never seen this one. I'm gonna have to look this up, like on Steve's Digicams or something. I guess you could detach the lens. People making digital cameras, everybody was like, oh man, we got to try all this crazy stuff. It's digital, right? So it has to be different. It can't be like a regular camera. And then we just kind of got that out of our system, like as a society, and agree that no, cameras should just be cameras, the way that cameras have looked since basically the 20s and 30s. So, you know, kind of miss earlier stuff. So $369 for this Palm Pilot over here. Wow, that's. I think I paid like $10 for one to use one time. Let's keep going. Here's a Mac Ball. Mac Ball. Is Mac Ball still a thing? I think maybe they are. Oh, okay. So these zip drives. This was $200. $200 for a zip drive. Includes one 100 megabyte disk, 5 CD titles included. I don't know what that's referring to. Maybe that's like mistaken copy. I don't know. But oh, here we go. Here we go. The 20th anniversary Mac. This is another thing that Jobs killed. And it's beautiful. It's a beautiful computer, but it's $4,000. I'd love to have one. They make no sense. But if you kind of think about it, they kind of like. I know it's designed by Johnny Ive, but it's an iMac. Like, look at it. It's a flat screen iMac with a tiny screen. Just expand the screen and move the disk drive to the side, and it's an iMac. In 1998, before we even had the G3 iMac. I want to say $4,000 is like on sale. I think there's a cheaper one later in here. I'll have to see. But yeah, so I mean, looking at the prices, stuff is still expensive, but it's coming down from where it was. Like if you go back maybe like 5 or 6 years, it's kind of seemed even more like, oh my gosh, how did we pay that much for stuff? So I think stuff is starting to come down to what we might consider reasonable, But there's just tons of these ads, and they all basically carry the same stuff. But I miss computer ads like this. I really miss stuff like this. I used to get the Best Buy ad every Sunday, and I saved it for last. I always set it aside. I'm like, that's the last thing I'm going to look at, and just salivate over looking at the stuff, and looking at all the computer things and the games and everything. And yeah, so here we got PowerBooks, low as $22.99. Probably let's see. I don't see the one that's $22.99. $1,400. So yeah, we got the G3 PowerBooks, kind of before the redesign. This was still using that 5300 form factor, And here they are, though. They're blowing out the clones. $1,000. Blowing it out because, what are you going to do? It's not going to be supported any longer. Why would you buy it? I have no idea. Club Mac shocks the world. Again, it's all the same stuff, basically. Basically the same prices. But let's see, memory upgrades. You just look up your Mac, and how far back does this go? It doesn't look like it goes back pretty far. Yeah, LCs, Performers. So this actually goes back pretty far. I'm impressed. Computer Discount Warehouse. I remember that one. Oh, this is the new. They upgraded the Jazz drive to 2 gigabytes. So yeah, more space with those removable drives. I don't think. Let's see. I don't think USB was a thing yet, at all. So the iMac, the original iMac had USB. So maybe it existed, but it certainly wasn't on any Mac. I haven't seen anything USB in here yet. So. Lots of printing, lots of memory. Let's see here. Oh, here we go. Somebody's actually advertising the Newton. That's another thing that Jobs killed. It sounds bad. It's like, oh, Jobs killed this, Jobs killed that. Well, yeah. I mean, he had to make some decisions about pulling that stuff down. But Yeah, $1,000 for, I believe this is the last Newton, the 2100. It can actually do a lot. It's got that ARM processor, here we go, foreshadowing. 2 PC card slots in this Newton. This thing was actually really big. It looks small in the copy, but it's, basically not that much smaller than a contemporary, iPad, not the iPad mini, like the normal iPad, the 11-inch one. So these people have zip drives for only $100. I don't know how they were able to do that. So a Macworld Expo. There used to be 2 of these every year, and it was a big deal, and they were really cool. And then Apple pulled out and they died, so that was sad. And these Bible series of books, I love these things. These are like several hundred pages long. Like I miss computer books, like physical books that you can have. Just sit and page through and dream at stuff, when you're not at the computer. So let's see, over here they got an ad. If we don't sell it, it's not worth looking at. Wow, that's okay. What is this? Way over here. Okay, Newton joins the Mac barcode family. I guess it was a barcode scanner for Newton. I wonder how much that size ad costs. There's a whole bunch of barcode stuff over here. Wow. Okay. Let's see. Student teacher school discounts. Desktop publishing bundles. And it's all software bundles for schools. You get these little ads, get a little more variety and stuff. Friends don't let friends use DOS. Buy or sell any Macintosh through us. Well, unfortunately, I did use DOS at the time, but I got better. Oh, man. Oh, here we go. Here's their website. I haven't seen too many people talking about their websites, actually. But the internet would have been around at the time. 1998, there was still a lot of online stuff going on. So, used Macintoshes over here. We match buyers and sellers of used Mac equipment. All Mac models available, the SE to PowerPC. I have no idea why you would want to buy a Mac SE in 1998. I mean, I guess thinking about it, that would have only been about 10 years old, which is just shocking to think about. Because my current computer is 6 years old, right? 19, 20, 21, 22, 24, 25. Yeah. So it's 6 years old, and it still feels great. It still works great. It's wonderful. But I can't fathom using an SE as your main computer in 1998. It wouldn't do anything useful that you could do as far as like getting online or anything like that. It just wouldn't do anything. Alright, Mac now. Again, just more stuff here. Wow, there's a lot of lists to look at. So I always wonder, how effective are these ads? Like the other ones that are kind of more, that have more pictures, they seem like they'd be pretty effective. But how much do people look at these tiny little list of text things? I guess I don't know. So Digicore, that sounds familiar. I wonder if they're still around. If you bought any computer equipment recently, you probably shouldn't read this ad. 5%.com. You can buy all major brands of Macintosh hardware and software at 5% above dealer cost. Unfortunately, our sales manager insists that we sell some Wintel crap too. That's the first time I've seen a curse word over here. Boy, that feels like a big deal. It said crap. You copy CDs. I had a friend that had one time. He helped me copy some. No, I guess that was a DVD copier. Anyway, yeah, he helped me copy some stuff to mail to people. Wow, this seems like a world away. A world away now. So, HOTTOGO. Baby, we are Mac to go. Oh, I hope I didn't just copyright claim myself. I guess I can duck that if I need to. Yeah. All the pictures are getting really tiny now. Kind of hard to see. The Apple 80B mouse too. Only $49. $50 for a mouse. It's so weird seeing all the stuff that, you know, at least when I started getting back into classic Macs, you know, stuff was still relatively cheap. It seems like things are getting more expensive now. But you could still walk into, like, you know, Goodwill Computer and get a whole bunch of stuff for cheap. And I guess we've reached that point in the bell curve where it's starting to go back up. But it sure does seem weird seeing all these prices. Yeah. Sonic processor card. Yeah, just so many ads. Like, you know, I don't have print copies of these Macworlds. I just have the, you know, PDFs. But man, they must have been thick. I remember getting PC magazines that were, you know, almost an inch thick because they're full of ads and everything. They were fun to look through. Oh, this is awkward. This is incredibly awkward. Let's see. On March 16th through 20, you'll get the chance to do something you've always wanted to. This, what is this? Sable, New York Publishing seminars, but it's just awkward there with the two towers. Of course, this is several years before that, but yeah. What is this? What is this for? Build your own publishing empire. Okay. Yikes. Yikes. A new Macworld series. New service readers called Get Info. Don't know what that's about. Oh, it looks like it's it's just a brand new website for product guides. So that's nice. That's nice. Let's see. Low blows in higher education. Intel getting inside. So let's see. Looks like talking about PC users, you know, roles in education. Yeah. Let's see. Macromedia. Okay. Leadership by example. The Kensington Turbo Mouse. I have one of those. It's pretty nice. It's yeah. Well, I think that's it for this issue. If you made it all the way to the end of the video, thanks for watching and thanks for sticking around. I just wanted to do something for Marchintosh that I could do without having the physical hardware. So I hope you enjoyed, you know, going by memory lane with me. I've actually really enjoyed this. I think I might do another one. I think I might pick. Let's jump forward 2 years ago to March 2000. 25 years ago. I hate saying that, 25 years ago, but I might be wrong. But I want to say that the magazine in the year 2000 is going to look drastically different than the magazine from 1998. So look for that. I'll try to get that posted later this month. So anyway, thank you for watching. Happy Marchintosh. Be sure to check out everyone else's, you know, videos and projects and things. I'm recording this in February, so I don't know, you know, what's going on, but I'm sure that plenty of people will have stuff. So anyway, thanks for watching. Like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.